Welcome to a very special episode of Inside Pianos, in which I finally unveil the Baldwin SD6 that I've been working on over the course of the last 4 years. In 2021, I made a video the day after I received this piano, and as we could see, it was in really rough shape. And I hadn't even discovered the mouse nest yet. In that video, I promised you, dear viewer, that I would keep you up to date on its progress, and I'm afraid I was not very good at doing that. I just haven't been happy with the progress on this piano. That is until very recently. So while I regret not taking you along for the journey, what we have here is a big reveal, showing the greatest contrast between where the piano started and where it is today. I hope you enjoy. So in the initial video, I made a recording of this piano as I received it. All I had done was give it a rudimentary tuning. As you can hear, this was a Baldwin in the rough. I recreated the simple Bloomline microphone configuration from that video to compare the before and after, using the same musical examples. I'll play those in just a second. Then I'll give you an overview of the work this piano has received. Finally, I'll end the video with a recording of the Baldwin using my current 7-mic setup. There's so much that I could say about the process of restoring this piano, but I'll stick to the highlights. If you're left with any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. But please don't let this speedy overview make you think this was an easy breezy project. It's been blood, sweat, and tears. This piano has not been generous with its beauty, and I've spent most of the last 4 years discouraged by it. Any misstep or overlooked improvement caused it to withhold its soul. The good news is that it really caused me to up my game, forcing me to deepen my understanding of the action, voicing, stringing. I've really learned a lot. In the first phase of restoration, I replaced the hammers with Ronson-Weichert hammers and Renner shanks. I also replaced the bass strings with Heller bass strings. This improved things, but not as much as I had hoped, to be honest. I even tried a different type of hammer, but I was still not getting the sound I knew that was in this piano. I was constantly voicing the hammers to try to get there, but I finally had to pull the trigger on a deeper phase of restoration to address some underlying issues that I had discovered. Out came the plate. The steel girding in my studio made it possible to do this on site, which was awesome. I removed the soundboard finish and treated the surface with epoxy, a process I've described in another video. Epoxy restores the stiffness of the board, allowing for a sustain in the treble, more like when the piano was new. My buddy John, who's great with a chisel, helped me restore the bridge so there would be a clean string termination there. And the piano got the usual things that happen with a proper restringing. New A-graphs, new felt, bridge pins, and a reshaped V-bar. The V-bar was actually not cast very well and required a lot of work to get something I was happy with. As I often do, I used a hybrid string scale, installing softer wire for the lower plain wire sections. I had discovered excessive down-bearing of the strings on the soundboard, and I installed vertical hitch pins for the lower part of the piano to free it up. I think this was one of the largest improvements that I made. For instance, prior to this phase, I couldn't play this passage of the Chopin G minor ballade without the long B-flat disappearing. Moving on to the action. The keys received the tasks old keys typically need. I'm now on my third set of hammers, another set of Ronson-Weichert hammers, but with a more appropriate weight than the first set. I've actually not replaced the whippings yet like I thought I would. I did some quick reconditioning that I thought was just going to get me by, but I actually think the action feels great. Very liquidy. Then, of course, regulate, 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 and voice, voice, voice. As you can see, the Baldwin is the piano for my recording studio, which, by the way, is open for clients. And if you've watched my earlier videos, you'll know that I used to have a beautiful Chickering concert grand in this space. In the first video that I made on this piano, I go into all the reasons why I decided to replace that Chickering with this piano. Of course, one of them was the hope that I would like it better. Do I? I actually still service that Chickering in its new home, and so I'm reminded pretty regularly of just how beautiful it is. You should watch the video I made called The Most Beautiful Piano. It features, I think, a really nice recording of the Chickering. What a soul it has. I mean, you can't own a piano that special and not miss it. However, Chickering at the time that it made that piano still had one foot in the 19th century. And the treble is not what we tend to call to mind if we're thinking about the ideal piano sound. It also had a flaw in the baritone section that was going to be pretty hard to resolve. The Baldwin, being a more modern piano, sidesteps both of those concerns. And it has this warm, noble soul of its own. I'm now going to take it through the paces with the Brahms Rhapsody in B minor, recorded with my current 7-mic setup. I hope you'll agree that this represents a new high watermark in my obsessive quest for the ideal piano sound, both in terms of the instrument itself and the recording. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hope to see you again the next time we open the lid on another episode of Inside Pianos.